Kong Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, Mindanao is the second largest island in the Philippines with 26 million population. If you will look at the Department of Transportation, there is no railway system in Mindanao. You can recall that during the time of President Duterte, there was already a feasibility study, everything was ready for phase one of the Mindanao Railway System, which is from Tagum, Davao City, and then Digos. May we know the status of that? Because it was a very long project study. We spent so much for that. And may we know why there has been no implementation of this, the first railway project in Mindanao? Because in Luzon, you can see here, there is a North Rail, there is a South Rail, there is an East Rail, there is a West Rail, no single inch of rail in Mindanao.
According to the agency, to DOTR, the funder of Mindanao Rail backed out, or I think maybe backed out is the wrong term, but there was a mutual agreement not to pursue the loan program. This is according to the DOTR. But in 2025, they allocated 200 million for the Mindanao Rail project to continue the activities of Mindanao Rail. But of course, 200 million, hindi yung magkakasya to. No? So they're relying on another funder to come in to completely fund the Mindanao Rail. No? But that's still in the pipeline of the DOTR. Unfortunately, nawala po yung original funder. No? I believe it was China. No? It was China who was supposed to fund Mindanao Rail. So they're looking for other funders for that. No?
Okay, juxtaposed with that is the railway, Mindanao Railway System Part 2, Phase 2, which is really from Misamis Oriental to Cagayan de Oro to Laguindingan and then to Iligan. And may we know because the project study, 100 million, was already completed. And may we know the status of that? Because then we have possible two railways so that, you know, railway is always the cheapest form of transportation of goods and people. And may we know why there is nothing here yet about these two very important railway systems, which are good for 22% of our people who are in Mindanao, 22% of the 119 million Filipinos. Do we know about that? Why there's nothing here, zero?
Mr. Congressman Rufus, it's not in the NEP. The agency did not request for that. So I think the most appropriate agency to talk to and inquire about that is the Department of Transportation. No?
What Congressman Rodriguez didn't tell Senator Gatchalian in this exchange is that he already had the answers to the questions he was asking. These queries were all simply meant to keep the Mindanao Railway on the official bicameral record. The Department of Transportation had, in fact, requested 5.4 billion pesos for the Mindanao Railway for the 2026 National Expenditure Program, or NEP. However, as shown here, the Department of Budget and Management rejected this request.
Alam nyo, pare-pareho naman tayong mga nagtatanong sa ahensya. Yung mga ahensyang yan, sang-ayon ako sa inyo, kailangan. Bakit hindi linagay sa NEP? Hindi naman trabaho ng senador, ng chairman ng finance, sagutin ang ahensya, bakit wala sa NEP? Yun na yung tanong namin, bakit nga wala sa NEP? Mag-isip-isip sila, matuto sila gumawa ng budget nila. Bakit tayo mag-iisip ngayon, ba't wala sa NEP?
Senator Ligarda's question about the NEP should have ultimately been directed towards the Department of Budget and Management, which decided which department requests were included in the NEP. The following was the Department of Budget and Management's response to Congressman Rodriguez's query about why the Mindanao Railway was not funded in the NEP during the House of Representatives hearing on the DOTR's budget in September 2025.
Good afternoon po, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Wala po kaming na-provide under the program appropriation for the Mindanao Railway. Wala pa po kasing loan agreement. Bumalik na po uli sila sa drawing board, so wala pa pong binibigay sa amin ng DepDev for the approval of the loan agreement. But however, we provided 1 billion under the unprogrammed fund in case unprogrammed appropriation in case within hanggang 2026 magkaroon ng loan agreement, meron po tayong mapagkukuhanan under the unprogrammed appropriation.
The DBM's back to the drawing board statement referred to the aborted credit facility that should have been provided by the China Export-Import Bank in connection with the award of a project management consultant contract to one of the firms nominated by China.
As early as 2023, we've been requesting from a former foreign funder partner, and still they're not coming back to us, to DOTR, and that's the reason why there's no loan agreement yet. And the funds that we proposed under the Mindanao Rail is more of supposedly a site acquisition or right-of-way fund. That's why it's under the GOP, in the hope that maybe 2026 or in the future we can look, or the government can find a suitable and willing foreign funder, Mr. Chair.
The loss of China as a funder meant that the Department of Transportation and the Department of Finance needed to identify a replacement lender. The DOTR explained this in the September budget hearing to Congressman Rodriguez.
We have already started po actually asking alternative development partners po to support us in Mindanao Rail. I'll share po some of the developments.
Let's continue. We are not counting your statements to my time.
Apa. Number one po, for Mindanao Rail Phase 1, we have already earmarked funding po from the Asian Development Bank for the updating of the feasibility study. Ito po kasing feasibility study natin came from 2017 to 2018. Ito po yung naging basihan para po mag-umpisa tayo nung usapan natin with the previous development partner na hindi po nag-pan out, as Secretary Lopez was saying. And ngayon po na kinakausap na po natin yung mga alternative development partners, isa po dun sa mga hinahanap po nila sa atin as isa pong updated na feasibility study. So right now po, meron na po tayong earmarked funding for that updating po ng feasibility study from the Asian Development Bank. So yun po yung una. Pangalawa po, doon po sa dati pong Phase 3 na ngayon po ay Phase 2. Na Mindanao Rail po mula sa Laguindingan Airport papunta po sa Villanueva, sa municipality po of Villanueva. We have been coordinating po, including po with your office, Congressman. Yung pre-feasibility study po natin para po dun sa Phase 3 ay tapos na. Okay. So ang gagawin po natin ngayon, base na rin po doon sa naging usapan po recently with Secretary Dizon, yung updating po nung feasibility study for Phase 1, tsaka yung pag-usad po from pre-FS to FS nun pong Phase 2, pagsasamahin na lang po natin at nang sa ganun, isang feasibility study po, sabay na po ang Phase 1 and Phase 2 at yun po yung gagamitin natin na basihan para po doon sa continuing po natin na pakikipag-usap po for other development partners. So far po, Honorable Congressman, we have talked po to the French. We have also talked po to India. We have discussed this po with the Asian Development Bank. Ang kaso lang po is para po sa Phase 1, medyo paso na po kasi yung feasibility study natin from 2017-2018, kaya po sila nangihingi ng update. So, balikan ko po yung tanong dun po sa roadshow. I guess po, ipaliwanag lang po na continuing po yung paghahanap namin ng development partners. Hindi po siya one time na may parang event po. Pag may lumalapit po sa amin, pag may nakakausap po kami na potential development partner, the French, the ADB, the Indians po have sounded off, even the Koreans po have sounded off, we always include po Mindanao Railway in the list of projects po na naghahanap po tayo ng bagong partner.
The contract for the ADB-funded feasibility study to update the cost estimates for the Mindanao Railway Project Phase 1 was supposed to have been awarded on November 15, 2025. However, as reported by the DOTR Right-of-Way Office, this process has been delayed till the second quarter of 2026. In the meantime, right-of-way acquisitions using funds from past national budgets continue. The Mindanao Railway Resettlement site in Tagum, whose land acquisition and construction had been started during the Duterte administration, was turned over to the Tagum City Government and the Department of Transportation on July 7, 2025. The DOTR Right-of-Way Office inspected the site on November 24, 2025.
Ay, naiiring nito sa kwan ha. Kasi, ako, malaki po ito. 34, 34.
Ang lot area 60.
Pero kailan po sinimulan to?
We're making June 2022.
Tapos po, last year.
No,
this year.
October, yung July 7. 7,
This year.
Nandito ako sa Gintuwa.
Oo nga.
This year, like July.
Kailangan na po natin i-award. So, in-stay ko po sa team. Sana, hindi namin kaya ng December to kasi ang dami ng activity. So, sana po ma-award natin ng... What is the first sponsor is?
Yes, essentially.
The Mindanao Railway portion of the BICAM discussion ended with the following appeal from Congressman Rodriguez.
Thank you for the lecture,
Yeah.
Senator Loren.
I'm not lecturing. I
No,
was
we thank you, really. You're really saying the right thing.
No,
But
it's true.
anyway,
Because I was there for 5 years, and sometimes, hanggang last minute, they submit in the BICAM. Why should they submit in the BICAM? Pag-isipan nila ang kanilang NEP, National Expenditure Program, the President's Budget. That's why ayaw namin ma-insertion sa BICAM. Kasi dapat kung mahalaga yan, nasa NEP na yan. And then they come to a senator during the plenary, isingit nyo to. Ayaw namin. Okay, we amend, but there's only limited fiscal space. And then now, a veteran congressman asks the first-term chair of the Finance Committee, why is it not there? I'm sorry, I have to answer for him. Of course, he can very much answer that. But if it's not in the NEP, what do we do? Right?
I also agree with Senator Ligarda and the chair. So therefore, I think Secretary Banoy Lopez is listening to us now. The suggestion of our senator is probably in the next cycle for 2027, we should be able to have that.
If I may add, after this, let's organize the oversight committee so that walang masama, we are consulted when they do their NEP. Masama ba yun? Hindi. Kasi lahat ng output natin, sabi natin, bakit ang DND puro infra, ba't kulang sa ganito? So, example yung DND, bakit ito, wala yung Mindanao Rail? Agree kami dyan. Ano mang priorities nila, di ba? Kaya hearing tayo ng hearing. Gawa tayo ng monthly oversight committee ng bicameral. Tanungin nyo yan, kaagad. Sang-ayon ako dyan.
I agree again with Senator Ligarda. So, in fact, in the budget hearing of the DOTR in the House, there was a commitment of Secretary Lopez that there will be a roadshow precisely to get funders for the two railway phase 1 and 2, so that we can already, once there is a roadshow and there is a funder, then that's the time we can include. So I would just like to seek the support of all the senators and all the congressmen that the oversight will be created, and we would wish that DOTR would really go into the roadshow for these two projects, so that for the first time, Mindanao will have the two railway systems. So again, my thanks to Senator Gatchalian and of Chairman Gatchalian and Chairman Mika Swansing for taking this up, the possibility already of the DOTR probably in the budget of 2027 already include amounts once we have funders already for these two vital, important projects for Mindanao, the railway system.